Thank you all. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's next on our program. I'm going to take, I hope, about 12 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes. That's my target. And if all of Shakespeare can be presented in an hour, then Mulberry Row can be introduced in 10 minutes. And then we're going to go to Mulberry Row. The intrepid, all of you intrepid ones will go to Mulberry Row, but that is not mandatory, of course. So anyway, let's look at Mulberry Row, and I want to talk about the project that's underway and give you a preview of it, not from the sense in that I'm going to be talking about what the history is or who the people are, but rather about our approach to this as an issue for museums. So that's my perspective. And before I do that, I want to take you to the Academy Awards to thank these stellar interdisciplinary people who have worked on this project. And they include numerous archaeologists. They're a prosperous group here at Monticello. Fraser Nyman, Karen Smith, Sarah Bon Harper, Derek Wheeler, the whole DAX team, the people working on the analysis of Mulberry Row's artifacts uncovered and reassessed recently. A team of historians who included, this should really be a composite of all the people and their pictures, but the historians, Cinder Stanton, Krista Dirksheide, a recent PhD of Peter Onuf's, Lenny Sorensen, Elizabeth Chu, who was also one of the curators, and Justin Serafin, who's here today. Architectural historians nabbed from other places, like Ed Chappell. You're going to see his drawings in a few minutes. An architect and digital model maker, the great Earl Mark from the University of Virginia School of Architecture. Various restoration specialists here, Bill Beiswanger and Bob Self, and landscape historians. A fantastic exhibition design team from Alexandria, Barbara Charles and Bob Staples and Charles. Barbara is here today. Various web and IT staff here, and educators and interpreters, headed by Gary Sandling. And if I've left anyone out, mea culpa. So this project, which you know was funded in part by NEH and happily has been very generously supported by a number of individuals and foundations in Virginia, set out to tell the story of Mulberry Row and to bring forward, as Cinder says, the human dimension, to convey the complexity of this landscape in a way that reaches Monticello's audience. And for some years, we have expanded our emphasis from Jefferson, and you will note that I have not included a picture of Jefferson here, rather to emphasize the entire landscape and the hundreds of people, free and enslaved, who lived at Monticello. So Monticello is seen as part of this 5,000-acre plantation. And the house and Mulberry Row occupy a very small part of it. And I don't have, well, I do actually. I have a little, okay, so here's Monticello, and here's the extent of Jefferson's land holdings in Albemarle County. So you can see that does not occupy a big place in the real estate, but Mulberry Row was very important, and it was the hub of the plantation, where there were more than 20 structures, dwellings, workshops, and sheds along this 1,300-foot row. And this project developed was the natural outcome of our restoration and interpretation of the dependencies at Monticello, which are located, they're the workspaces located under the terrace and under the terraces, plural, and under the main house. So we started restoring them and interpreting them about 10 years ago, and worked at that time with Staples and Charles to present this, to present these new spaces, or these spaces. And we developed a format. I wish I had included the cook's room, but I hope that this afternoon you'll have time to walk under the house and see this. So what we did in the dependencies was develop a way of communicating ideas. We restored the spaces architecturally. We refurnished them, and then we installed an interpretive framework. And this doesn't seem like it's brilliant, probably, but it was very innovative because for the first time, as far as we know, it brought the story, the historical story, present into a restored space. So this had been very well received and laid the groundwork for our future effort. And the reader rails, these so-called exhibition panels there, provided a succinct commentary on what the space was, and in each and every case emphasized the human dimension, the people, and told the stories of the people who lived and worked there. The project that we are working on right now is interdisciplinary, as I mentioned. It included extensive archaeology along the site, begun in 1957. What we've done recently is create outdoor mini exhibitions with artifacts. You'll see them this afternoon. We created an animation of lost structures that you'll see. We've built an extensive website that dovetails with two others. We're working on a smartphone app. We have tours and dialogues with our visitors or constituents that reach approximately 45,000 people each year. What we've done on Mulberry Row links to our exhibition that opened at the Smithsonian last year, Slavery at Jefferson's Monticello. And we're now embarking on a major transformative landscape restoration plan which will reinstate Jefferson's original road scheme. We're going to restore two remaining original structures, and we're going to, we think, recreate some others. So I want you to be thinking of this not so much as what we've done, but as a kind of a problem. Like, think about it, see what we've done, react to it, and then tell us what you think in the succeeding sessions. So we got a great review in the New York Times of the outdoor exhibition as well as of our exhibition in Washington at the Smithsonian. And this is a little bit of a preview showing one of the introductory panel about Mulberry Row, which orients everyone to the site, and there's an individual looking at it, so you get a sense of scale. And a point mentioned earlier is, how do we know what we know? We have one exhibition panel that tells people what our sources of information are, and they include the documentary record, which you see at the left, the archaeological investigation, and then finally the digital models. And what you see below is picturing Mulberry Row. How many of you saw the animation at lunchtime? Number of you? Oh, alas. Okay. We might. Okay. We might be able to show it on the big screen before we go up if you're interested, but it's also shown up there on the side of the museum shop. And this is an image of the wood trades mini exhibition that's located near the ruins of the joinery and gives you a feel for what that looks like on site. And our challenge at Monticello, unlike other places, is to deal with a tremendous historical record. And for us, it's as much what not to tell as it is what to tell, because we would exhaust any ordinary human being with the breadth and depth of what we know. So for us, it's very important to be able to tell a story in a way that people can really react to it and understand it. We cannot overwhelm people. That's a constant challenge for us. So winnowing this to 125 words in spots is arduous. But this gives you a sense of what the mini exhibitions look like. Most of them include artifacts that have been discovered in archaeological research. And because so few of the buildings survive, only the remnants of 4 exist today, we have marked the sites of the missing buildings with little yellow signs. And you see that at the bottom left where they're missing. And this is where the animation goes. That's where it sits on the side of the museum shop near a panel. And a challenge in the Mulberry Row story, by the way, is conveying the change on Mulberry Row over time. Mulberry Row had 3 distinct phases, and we want people to understand the shift in slave housing from barrack-style group housing to individual structures, and that happened in 2 successive phases. So that's something that's called out, and this is a study for our and product of our animation. At the bottom is Ed Chappell's drawing that was based on archaeological study of the site and descriptions of these dwellings that were made by Jefferson. And so Ed and our team collaborated to produce the drawing. It was Ed's hand, however, that you see here, that he actually made the drawing. And from that drawing, our animator, Earl Mark, created the dwellings and put them on the site. So we now have at our disposal a whole other kind of presentation about this site. And here's another building, the Smokehouse Dairy, that we studied as part of the NEH project to create this digital model. Okay. We took this and put the animation that we created in the exhibition that was at the Smithsonian, and over 1 million people saw the show. And it is now traveling to the Atlanta History Center, to the Missouri History Museum, and to the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. So we're really happy that this information about Mulberry Row will be traveling across the country and get more attention. We know that only 440,000 people will visit Monticello each year. And of those 440,000 people, about 400,000, nearly 400,000, will actually walk on the Mulberry Row site and see the exhibition. But there are 1.5 million people who won't ever get here. So our website is very important, and all of us were dazzled by the resources that were shown earlier about other websites. But these 3 websites are new and are they're on Monticello.org. The one at the top is the website for the exhibition. The one in the middle is the Getting Word website, and the one in the front is the Landscape of Slavery, the Mulberry Row website. And the Mulberry Row website was created especially to kind of consolidate what we know about Mulberry Row. And without delving into it live in person, I wanted to just show you its features so that you can explore it on your own. And it includes 6 essays on topics related to slavery at Monticello: family, labor, economy, punishment, and then the links across the screen are about people, work, and places, because those are the principal headings of the stories that we cover. And when you click on any of them, you can discover the biographies of 88 enslaved people who lived or worked on Mulberry Row, as well as biographies of free white workers. And I'm showing you, we have biographies in 2 forms, a long bio and a short bio. This is the short biography of Brown, Colbert, and Naylor. And then we are developing a smartphone app. This is under development, and we hope to have it out in a couple of months. And this will enable anybody on the site to learn about the 3 building phases at Mulberry Row, the particulars about the buildings and the sites, the archaeology, the people, and then how to visit. So this has a very sophisticated mapping system on it and will enable people to understand where they are and where they're going and dig deeper. And I realize we're running out of time, so I'm going to speed up. What we're embarking on in a few months is the reinstatement of a major landscape feature and removal of some other things. We'll be taking out the brick steps that now link the museum shop to the house. They were never there in Jefferson's time. And we are reinstating the kitchen road, which is this diagonal road that went from the kitchen to Mulberry Row. And this will be transformative because you will be able to visualize the function of the plantation once that is brought back. And we're removing about 40 feet of asphalt, the vestige of an old parking lot from in front of the museum shop, to reinstate the original width of Mulberry Row. So if you come back in November, you will see this in place. If you come back in the spring, you'll see the plantings in a more mature state, and we will bring back more of Mulberry Row. So this is a rendering of what it will look like, and that's the kitchen path between the garden gate going between Mulberry Row and the kitchen, and then we are planning to recreate at least one of the slave dwellings built in the 1790s. And this will be along Mulberry Row. We are also thinking about ways in which to mark the sites of the absent buildings. We don't, this is just a placeholder here to we're thinking about other ways of doing this. We don't know how extensively we would do it. We're just saying we want to mark the other sites. And our goal is to really evoke the site, to help people, us, imagine the site as it was in Jefferson's time. And we are very interested in the dialogue that's going to occur while you're here to get your feedback on this. And after the first building goes up, we want to hear how you react to it and what you think of it. We have 2 buildings, the existing Jefferson buildings. Top left is Building E, known as the Weaver's Cottage. It was where there was a textile workshop after 1814. The top right is the stable. Below that is the grave in the stone house, in the foundations and walls of the stone house of Rachel Phillips Levy, and at left is the remains of the joinery. We will be restoring the Building E, the Weaver's Cottage, because that is an original Jefferson structure dating from about 1776. So that's a very quick preview of what's in store, and we look forward to getting your comments and ideas and reactions. Now, before we go up to Mulberry Row, Barbara, do you have a question?
I just want to add, if people go into the dependencies, look at Crossroads.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
We attempted to illustrate people for whom
Right.
we have no illustration.
Right.
It's a valuable step that a lot of houses are going through.
That's a great comment. Thank you for that reminder. We call it the Crossroads exhibition.
It's dead center under the house.
Now we're going to go up top. We're going to take shuttle buses, which leave from the top of the stairs. But before that, I want to make one little note about tomorrow. It's a go for Mount Alto. Yay! Okay. So tomorrow morning, assuming that the weather gods are still shining on us, our shuttle buses will board in the parking lot opposite the cobbled courtyard. So park your cars. Beginning at 8:30, you will be able to take a bus up to Mount Alto. There will be coffee and breakfast there. Coffee and some light breakfast will be there beginning at 8:30. And the buses will board from 8:30 until 9:45. Figure that it will be 15 to 20 minutes between the time you board the bus and the time that you get off the bus up there. We will have a bus with us all day in case of an emergency if you need to get back down here. So for the remainder of the afternoon, we're going to go up to Monticello, have the Mulberry Row tours. There will be several guides taking you around, and then you will get back on the bus and come down here. When you are back down here, our reception starts at 5:30 in here. Until then, you can go back to the Woodland Pavilion and enjoy the technology exhibits there, or go into the Smith Gallery and see the exhibitions there. So have a great afternoon. Yes, there's a question. I think you should take things with you because this room is going to be prepared for the reception after we leave. And and you'll be told where to reboard the bus when you get it. You are getting on the buses now.